March 28th, 9:45 a.m., High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202.
Ugh! I still can't believe what happened yesterday. It was terrible, the way those two treated you.
Now let's cut to the chase. I'm here to clean up your mess, Edgeworth.
The committee hereby decrees that Prosecutor Edgeworth be relieved of his duties and replaced by Prosecutor Winner. Here ends the verdict.
Judge Gavell and Mr. Winner certainly didn't mince their words, but that's not what concerns me right now. I'm more worried about the committee's reasons for doing what they did, and what they might do next. I suspect it won't be good.
Earth to Mr. Edgeworth! Are you listening to me?
Yes, of course.
So this is it? You're giving up on the Bronco Knight case?
No, I have no intention of doing any such thing. To walk away from the case would be to tactfully accept the committee's decision. The only problem is that I don't have the authority to continue investigating. Yes, what is it, Detective? I've got some bad news, sir. Word down at the precinct is they just arrested somebody for Knight's murder. What? Do you know who it is? No, but I heard that they're being held in the detention center. Maybe you could go talk to whoever it is.
Good idea. Let's get down there, Mr. Edgeworth.
Even without the authority to investigate, surely I can still pay the suspect an innocent visit. All right, we're on our way. Me too. I'll see you there, sir. But won't you be missed, Detective? Nah, everyone's busy in the prison going over the crime scene anyway. Good, then we'll see you shortly. Yes, sir. Come on, Kay, let's go.
You got it.
March 28th, 10:23 a.m., Detention Center, Visitors Room.
Still no sign of them, huh?
Indeed.
Wait, this is just like last time.
Please don't tempt fate like that. No, I can't. I just can't. Sure you can. I told you, it's just a pair of visitors.
Sounds like someone really doesn't want to see us.
No. Just talk with them, please.
But one of them's a prosecutor, right? Aren't they all super scary? All they do is stare at you, right into your soul.
Ah, you must be the suspect in the...
Yeah! See? I told you!
Kay, why is this man so flustered?
Probably because you're being you. But I guess that's just how you are.
Thanks for clearing up absolutely nothing.
Hey, Mr. Suspect, you doing okay in there? We just want to have a little chat with you. No biggie, right?
Who are you?
I'm Kate Faraday, Mr. Edgeworth's trusty sidekick. It's just a part-time gig I'm doing while I take a break from my real job, though.
Funny, I don't recall ever employing you.
And that's Mr. Edgeworth. He is a prosecutor, but he's not going to stare a hole into your soul or anything.
Oh, please.
Really?
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 Yeah!
Anyway, can you first please tell us your name?
It's Saint. Simeon Saint.
Well, nice to meet you, Simeon. You can call me Kay. Everyone else does.
Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, I would like to ask you a few questions, if I may.
Please, Simeon. We're trying to help you. I promise.
Really?
Thanks to Kay, it sounds like we might finally get some answers at least. Perhaps you could start by telling us a little about yourself.
Who, me? Why would anyone want to know anything about me? I'm boring. I'm nothing. I'm a nobody.
Do you have a job?
Oh, well, it's hardly worth mentioning, really. I'm your average corporate pencil pusher, just like everybody else. Honest.
This is going to take a while. About you and Mr. Knight. And just when I thought we were making progress, okay?
So, Simeon, did you know Mr. Knight? Come on, you can tell me.
Bronco? Yeah, I knew him. We were friends.
Interesting. I wonder if he knew that Knight had been arrested.
And, did you know Mr. Knight had been arrested?
Yeah, I even came to visit him.
He came to see Knight. I wonder when that would have been.
And when was that, Simeon?
It was the day before yesterday, around lunchtime. I came as soon as I got the call from the cops.
The police called him? Why?
How come the police called you?
They said Bronco asked him to, that he needed a favor.
Favor?
Uh-huh. He wanted me to bring him his chess set, the pocket-sized one. So I went by his place and then I came here.
A chess set?
A chess set?
Is it just me, or is she getting better at stealing my thoughts?
You do know everything you think is written all over your face, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah, I'm not a mind reader, just an expression reader. Amazing, right? Don't you just love having a sidekick as helpful as me?
And have you read what my next move is going to be?
I sure have. There's something you want to show Simeon.
Indeed. Let's present it to him and see what he has to say about it. Yeah, exactly. Let's present this.
So, this chess set.
Oh, that's the one I brought for Bronco.
Well, that settles that at least.
We, found it next to Mr. Knight.
He always had to have a chessboard somewhere nearby. I'm not surprised he had it with him when he...
Simeon, you and Mr. Knight, you were very close, weren't you?
Yeah, we were best friends. At least, I thought we were. But I guess I was wrong about that.
What do you mean?
If I knew him so well, why was it such a shock for me to find out he had killed someone?
It's not easy discovering that someone you are close to has committed a terrible crime. It's a very bitter pill to swallow indeed.
How could it all end like this? I could never have imagined something so awful.
Something's not right here, Mr. Edgeworth. There's just no way Simeon murdered Mr. Knight.
Yes, he certainly doesn't seem to have an obvious motive. Then again, he wouldn't have been arrested for no reason either. I wonder what grounds they had for doing so. Why were you arrested, Mr. Saint?
I just don't get it. Why won't he talk to me? I don't know. Honestly, I don't.
Whoa, he answered you, Mr. Edgeworth. I guess he's not scared of you anymore.
Thank goodness for small miracles.
The cops burst into my house this morning out of nowhere. And before I knew it, I was here.
These policemen, was there a prosecutor with them?
Yes, some kid named DeWinner or something.
The rookie. I thought as much.
So, did they interrogate you yet?
What? I'm gonna be interrogated? By the cops?
Well, yeah, I mean, you've been arrested. You're a suspect now.
No. Won't the detective shout at me and threaten me and... There are always these hulking guys, right? Who get in your face and force you to...
Detective Geek Gumshoe reporting for duty.
Geek! See? I told you! But please don't hurt me. Please don't crush me with those huge arms. No! Please! I'm calling the cops.
What's up with this guy, Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, nothing, Detective. You're just being you. I guess it's just how you are. I don't get it, sir.
Look, Mr. Edgeworth, Simeon is clearly innocent. So there's got to be something we can do for him, isn't there?
Mr. Saint.
Yes?
You were Mr. Knight's friend, and 2 days ago you came to visit him. You had nothing at all to do with his murder. Is my understanding correct?
Yes. I didn't kill anybody.
Very well. Then I will choose to believe you, and I will do all that I can to assist you.
Huh? But why would you help a nobody like me?
Let's just say that I may not be doing it solely for your sake. I have something of a personal interest in this case.
That's right. It's payback time. We'll show those two whose investigation reigns supreme.
Oh yeah, now we're cooking. Unfortunately, I still lack the authority to conduct said investigation. As such, my resources are rather limited, and I'll need to lean heavily on the ones I do have at hand. Which means you, Mr. Saint, your information will be invaluable going forward. In other words, let's see if we can't help one another out, shall we? Oh, I just thought of something. Why don't you just borrow an attorney's badge? Then you could represent our pal here.
Now's not the time for jokes, Gummy. I mean, Mr. Edgeworth is a prosecutor. He couldn't defend anyone if his life depended on it.
But I wasn't kidding. I just thought helping suspects, that's what a defense attorney does, you know?
Sure, but we can do that too. The only thing that matters is that we find the real culprit in the end. So come on, let's get to work.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sure you know already, but just to be clear, if our investigation ultimately proves you to be the culprit, we'll have no choice but to treat you like any other suspect. But you needn't worry. I believe you, or at least I have decided to try. For now. Just hold tight and try to believe in us in return. If nothing else, it might help you to feel a little less alone. Now, if you'll excuse me. March 28, 11:22 a.m. Detention Center. Corridor.
So we talked a good game in there, but we can't even get back inside the main prison to see the scene of the crime.
Maybe defending the guy in court is our best bet after all.
Gummy! Can't defend for his life, remember?
Well, who do we have here? If it isn't Edgeworth and the gang, what are you cats doing here? Listen, pal, if you've come to harass Mr. Edgeworth again, I'll... Hey, easy there, Detective Flatfoot Sholmes. I'm here to work.
Work? What, you're here to defend somebody?
Whoa, the Cave Meister nails it in one. Aren't you just the uber intelligentes one of the bunch? Uber intelligentes? That's not how you use either of these words, Fender. Some may say I'm an easygoing old rogue about town, but I'm actually not a half-bad attorney, which is why I've been summoned to the old Jaileroonie for a meeting with a new client. The suspect is one Simeon Saintsbury.
You mean Simeon Saint?
Wow, that's freaky. You know more about my job than I do.
Wait, Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fenner's a defense attorney. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I fear I might be. In fact, it could be our only option. Not so long ago, I found myself embroiled in another case that wasn't mine. I managed to worm my way onto the crime scene by agreeing to be a certain someone's subordinate. Not an experience I ever wanted to repeat, but I fear I may have little choice. Fender, Hold it! Before you say another word, I just gotta point out the fine print. Eddie Fender doesn't take on associates. Say it ain't so, I hear you protesting, but pompous prosecutors are a no-go. Especially those of the Von Karma variety. I should have known he wouldn't forgive me that easily. I understand why you wouldn't want to work with someone like me. What's more, I understand how you feel about all things Von Karma. But please, believe me when I say, I'm not the man I was back then. I'm no longer under my old mentor's spell. You better believe it, pal. Mr. Edgeworth's a changed man. Sure, he used to be the demon prosecutor, but he's not like that anymore. I do have feelings, Detective.
Gummy's right. Mr. Edgeworth's one of the good guys now. He's not just a prosecutor. He's a hero. He got me off the hook just last month.
You don't say. Well, that escalated quickly.
But he was. There's no other word for it. He was heroic. Great thiefly, even.
Please, Fender. Don't you think there's something odd about the way the committee stepped in yesterday? There's more to this case than meets the eye. I'm certain of it. I can't just walk away from this. I can't. Please, allow me to help you with this investigation. Sheesh. A bow from the great Miles Edgeworth. Never thought I'd see the day, but here we are. So enlighten me, if you will. What made the leopard change his spots? Well, I suppose I would have to say, the courtroom itself. I have experienced so many things and met so many people there within its four walls, including some old friends who showed me a better way to be. How could that not change a person? Well, I'll be. The old you would never have bared a soul like that. That was beautiful. You might have even surprised you-know-who, and you know how much that takes. Tell you what, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start again with a clean slate. So, this is me. Edgeworth & Co. Law Offices, Eddie Fenton, Fender, Senior Partner.
Edgeworth!
That's right. Mr. Fender here began his legal career as an assistant to my late father, Gregory Edgeworth.
What? Your dad was a defense attorney? So, the you-know-who Mr. Fender keeps talking about is...
The clever K-Meister nails it in one yet again. That's right, I was talking about his old man. Guess you all noticed I kept his name over the door, so to speak. Least I could do for old Gregory, really. Listen, Edgeworth. Miles, I'm going to level with you here. I don't trust you. Not fully, anyway. I can't just forget about all those years you spent licking Von Karma's boots, you know. Anyone can say they've changed. I'm gonna need you to prove it. And besides, you know it's what Gregory would have wanted. Very well, I accept. Okay, then that's enough hardball for one day. Let's move on to the fun stuff. I hereby appoint you interim associate of Edgeworth & Co. Congrats, man. I will try not to let you down. Well, doesn't this bring a tear to the eye? The prodigal son coming on board at his late father's firm.
Permission to come on board too? Please, Mr. Fender?
You don't even have to ask, kiddo. Welcome to the crew.
Woohoo! Thanks, Captain.
Alright, I guess it's time to go to work. So, where to begin? Any bright ideas, Miles? Where were we when we were so rudely interrupted? Well, I guess it's safe to say that probably wasn't the victim. Indeed, it sounds more likely to have been the person who found his body. I believe we need to speak with the person who found the body. Just what I was thinking, eager associate. We do indeed. Still the type to smile and nod, I see. That'll certainly make my life easier, boss.
Now that that's decided, let's get going.
What about me? I'm a detective. I can't just hop on board an attorney's assistant like you guys. He has a point. I can't leave him adrift all on his own now, can I? Detective Gumshoe, I have a special assignment for you. You ought to continue investigating the case under Mr. Winner. And if you happen to discover anything that seems useful, you ought to notify me immediately. You're in a uniquely powerful position, Detective, and I'm going to need all the info you can pass our way. You can count on me, sir. I'm a real pro when it comes to letting things slip through the fence. Trust me, I know. But just this once, those loose lips of yours might be what saves our ship. Throw wide the prison gates, good sirs, because here we come. March 28th, 11:50 a.m. Prison corridor. So, any idea how we tracked down whoever found the Bronxer's body, Miles? I think our best bet would be to simply ask around.
Oh, don't you dare.
Who is this? Excuse me, but...
Oh my, just look at you.
Are you talking to me?
Just fabulously, chick, darling. Fabulously. Facial hair is so very au courant, don't you think?
Enchant, mademoiselle, and much obliged. Defense attorney Eddie Fender at your service. Let's get things off on the right foot, shall we? A little embracer, perhaps?
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Right on the kisser!
Well, how else does one greet a new friend? A little smooch is entirely de rigueur, don't you think? Wow, how about stealing a kiss?
Indeed, an act so shameless it puts even great thieves to shame.
Physical contact is so very important as a form of expression for our little family. Everyone in this lovely home will tell you as much.
Hey, if everyone else is hip to that, I can be hip to that too. Sure.
Fifi Laguarde, by the way, warden of this charming abode. You may call me Fifi, of course.
So she's the warden of the entire detention center and prison facility, is she? A pleasure to meet you, Miss Laguarde. Miles Edgeworth. I am a prosecutor, an associate with Mr. Fenner's practice. I hope you don't mind me asking, but were you here in the prison yesterday?
Oh, don't be silly, darling. Of course I was. Yesterday was a very important day, after all.
Important in what way, exactly? A big meeting of some kind, perhaps?
A meeting? Oh, heavens, no. I couldn't think of anything worse. No, yesterday the circus came to visit. It was a simply spectacular event featuring some terrifically talented animals. Anyone who was anyone had to be there. If you were here at home, you were watching the show with me. The performers set up a special stage in the yard just for us. We are one very lucky family, n'est-ce pas?
So she was at the circus performance for the inmates yesterday morning. Mr. Conserado mentioned a show yesterday as well. He must have been talking about the same thing. What time did this show take place?
From around 8 until 10, maybe. Yes, something like that.
Meaning it finished right around when the body was discovered. And by dint of having attended the show, she has a reasonably solid alibi.
Oh, would you look at the time? Sorry, darlings, but I really must dash. Feel free to explore our home. Mi casa, su casa, and all that. Ciao for now.
Well,
what now, Mr. Edgeworth? The person who found the body screamed, and that scream was heard by one inmate that we know of.
therefore our first task is to question this inmate and see where his information will take us next. And that's exactly what we'll do. About the person who found the body, do you happen to know where he is right now? Should be in one of the workshops, I guess. Usually is at this hour. Then it seems the workshops are our next port of call.
Hello? Anybody in there?
Nice try, kiddo, but this isn't a bathroom stall. Yo, you there, could you help us out here, my good man? Yes, sir. What can I do for you? Is somebody using this workshop right now? Yes, sir. One of the prisoners is in there. Just confirmed it myself during the noontime roll call. We'd like to speak to this prisoner if that's all right. Sure, I'll go fetch him right now. Won't take a sec. This one's all yours, Mousy boy. What? Why? Let's just say I'd rather not roll the dice on someone I don't know, yeah?
Huh? I thought adults were all supposed to be strong and brave.
Well, you're not looking so brave yourself right now, so let's call it even. Here they come.
Hello, yes, hello. I hear you wish to speak with me?
Not exactly the hardened criminal we were expecting, is he? My name is Miles Edgeworth. I'm a public prosecutor.
A prosecutor, you said?
Hold it! Eddie Fender, attorney at law. What happened to being too scared to handle this? Listen, sorry about my pal here. He gets the weirdest ideas. Prosecutor indeed, that'll be the day. He's actually just an associate. Jeez, Miles, get a grip, will ya? He's right. I mustn't forget that I'm a defense attorney's assistant for the time being.
Ah, that explains it. I did think you looked a little different from the prosecutor I spoke with yesterday.
So he's already spoken to Winner. Would you mind answering a few questions?
No, of course not. I'd be delighted. The name Sahwit. Frank Sahwit.
The witness is all yours, my young associate. Sure, have the intern do everything. Why not? Mr. Sahwit, you are no doubt aware that a murder took place yesterday. Would you mind telling us where you were at the time the body was found?
Yes, I was in that workshop there, working as one might expect.
What kind of work were you doing?
Well, I'm actually retraining at the moment. I'm hoping to become a stylist, you see. A pet stylist, that is. Yes, so I've been studying hard and practicing every moment I can.
An unusual field of study befitting an unusual prison, I suppose.
And that's it! I certainly didn't say anything!
Interesting. I barely asked him anything at all, and he's already sweating bullets.
So, yes, I am afraid I won't be able to help you. Sorry.
No, I'm the one who's sorry, Mr. Sahwit, for this interview has only just begun.
I mean, even if you were to ask me,
You know something, don't you?
that's...
He's definitely hiding something. I'll need to push him a little harder if I'm to get any answers. The first step is to analyze the situation. Let's take a look at our opponent.
I didn't see anything. I really can't help you, I'm afraid.
A pawn, a bishop, and a queen. Something tells me he'd be a good poker player. It's hard to tell much at all from his face. And I don't think he'll be giving me much in the way of physical cues, either. I'll have to rely solely on his words instead. That's the only way I'll know what's going on underneath. Alright, time to make my first move. Let's see who we're dealing with here. He may be good at hiding his emotions, but everyone has a tell. Logic chess, start! Alright, what's your connection to the incident? Tell me, what's your connection to this incident?
Which incident? The murder? Oh, well, it has nothing at all to do with me. Nothing.
Really?
I wouldn't dream of getting involved in anything as ghastly as that. Well, you see, how could I put this? I like to think of myself as an upstanding citizen. A good person, if you will.
Really? Forgive me, Mr. Sword, but under normal circumstances, good people do not tend to end up in prison.
That's...
So you do well to tell me what you know about the incident.
How many times do I have to tell you people? I don't know anything, I swear. Sorry, I don't know what more to say, but I can't help you.
My apologies, Mr. Sword. But considering that the incident occurred right here in this prison, I find it very hard to believe that you know nothing at all.
Oh, well, yes, I suppose I can see how it might seem unlikely, but it's true. If you're looking for the person who found the body, you'll have to look elsewhere.
Is that right? Why do you think I'm looking for the person who found the body? I certainly never mentioned any such thing to you. Is it because you do know something you're not telling me after all?
No! I just sense that's who you might be looking for, that's all. I'm simply a pet stylist in training. I don't know anything, truly.
There's no doubt about it now. This man is hiding something big. In which case, let's find out what he did yesterday, the day of the incident. My opponent is very good at hiding his true feelings, but not for long. It's time to smash that mask of his and see what lurks behind that phony smile. Tell me about the day of the incident. If you really don't have anything to do with the murder, then you have nothing to hide, right?
Well, the day of the incident? Oh gosh, I mean, so much happened.
What were you doing? I want to know what you were doing, Mr. Sword, in detail.
I told you I'm a pet stylist in training, and that's what I was doing yesterday, training. Specifically, I was giving the animals a trim.
You didn't notice any commotion at the time of the incident? I would imagine things were suddenly quite tumultuous around here.
Well, commotion, you say? No, not really. Maybe I heard someone, but...
Were they screaming? You heard someone. Was it someone screaming by any chance? And don't try to tell me you don't remember. You continue to assert that you know nothing about the incident, Mr. Sword. But I'm afraid I don't believe a word of it.
Yeah! No, I thought I heard someone yelling, but I don't really remember.
The fact that he heard a scream at the time of the murder may well prove to be a useful clue. I would do well to bear it in mind. Tell me about the day of the incident. If you really don't have anything to do with the murder, then you have nothing to hide, right?
Well, the day of the incident? Oh gosh, I mean, so much happened.
What was it like here in the prison yesterday morning?
I really don't remember. I don't have the best memory, I'm afraid.
Time to deploy my clue. You don't remember? Please, you literally just confirmed that you heard a scream.
Oh, but I might have been mistaken. The truth is, I really don't remember.
Your memory fails you yet again? How convenient, but I know you're lying, Mr. Saint.
How dare you talk to me like, I'm not lying. Look, if you must know, when I'm working with the animals and I get into the zone, they're all I see.
Am I to understand you have something of a talent for animal grooming then?
Well, my scissor technique could use a little work, but I'd say I'm quite good with the animals. They seem to like me. I am especially good at calming them down when they get scared.
Scared? And when exactly do they get scared? Surely it doesn't happen very often.
Well, no, thankfully it doesn't.
A loud scream would certainly frighten the animals, wouldn't it? Why are you going to such lengths to deny having heard the scream? What is it you're hiding, Mr. Saint? Tell me!
Yeah! I can assure you, I'm not hiding anything. I'll admit I did really hear somebody scream, but I'm not hiding anything, I promise.
The mask is finally beginning to crack. Now to shatter it completely by asking about the scream itself in more detail. I'm afraid you're about to learn a painful lesson, Mr. Saint, that hiding things from me never ends well for my opponent. When did you hear the scream? When did you hear the scream?
Oh, wait, now I remember. I forgot about the show. They put on a show for us prisoners around the time of the incident, you see. Yes, performing animals, if I remember rightly. That's where I was in the morning.
So now you wish to claim that you didn't hear a scream because you were at the show? You do realize that goes completely against everything you've told me so far?
And what are you gonna do about it, huh? That is, my memory is patchy, as they say. The animal show really had to be seen to be believed.
It did, didn't it? Tell me, what kind of animals did you see?
Let me think. A whale?
You weren't actually at the show, were you? Enough of your lies. You were nowhere near the show, were you?
Yeah! Well, I seem to remember being there, but maybe I was. Maybe I wasn't.
It's clear Mr. Saint wasn't at the show. This feels like a vital clue. Who did you hear screaming?
Wait, I just realized I made a mistake. When the incident happened, I was out in the yard. Yes, so I didn't hear anyone screaming. No one at all.
Time to deploy my clue. How long are you planning to keep up these lies? I already know that you weren't at the show.
Yeah!
The game's up, Mr. Saint. It's high time you told me the truth. I demand to know about this scream. Now.
I can't tell you what I don't know. I didn't hear any scream. Not from the person who found the body.
How curious. Most people would assume that the scream had come from the victim. So then, why do you think it came from the person who found the body?
Yeah! I made a mistake, that's all.
How, Mr. Saint? How did you know that it was the person that found the body who screamed? Because you're the one who found the body. Shall I tell you? You knew because it was you who found the body. And the scream that was heard when the incident occurred didn't come from the victim. It came from you.
Yeah! How did you... It's true, I admit it, but what gives you the right to treat people like this?
Checkmate. Logic chess complete. Now that we've established that you were the one who found the body, Mr. Saint, I believe you have lost any standing you might have had to withhold your cooperation.
All right, you win. But I'm sure I won't have anything useful to tell you. It probably isn't even worth your time.
That's not for you to decide. By my hand, the truth will be revealed. Every decision I make is to ensure that end.
Hold it!
Except, that's not exactly what we're here to do, is it?
What do you mean?
We're not trying to expose the truth. We're trying to save Simeon. That's what we do now, remember? We work to get our client out of trouble. Not as a prosecutor, but as a defense attorney's assistant.
What the K-Meister said. You need to listen to the kid more, you know. A client has requested the services of Edgeworth & Co. And as your old man always said, your relationship with your client comes before everything else. So if you think Mr. Saint's well-being is taking a backseat to some quest for the truth, well, let's just say I don't like to fire people. So I need you to fight against your instincts a little harder, yeah? This will take some getting used to. In any case, the importance of this man's testimony remains unchanged. Therefore, Mr. Sword, I am asking once more, what happened when you found the body?
Testimony. Fighting the corpse. I was in that workshop there by myself, practicing what I learned. I don't remember how, but I found myself in front of the door to the other workshop. I happened to peek in through the little window, and then I saw him lying there, a man, not moving, dead. I quailed in fright and found myself screaming in sheer terror.
Let me get this straight. The room you were in is next to the one where the corpse was found?
Yes, that's right. I was in Workshop B.
And you were there the whole day?
Yes, from the 7 a.m. roll call onwards. There are 3 roll calls a day, you see. 7 a.m., noon, and 9 p.m.
And they check who's in the workshops during roll call, correct?
That's right.
Nothing was reported to be amiss at 7 a.m., which means that Knight's body wasn't in the workshop yet at that point in time. Interesting. Guess that means the murder took place after 7 a.m.
Which puts it right around the time the show was happening.
Ah, yes, the show. I remember the other prisoners going to see it.
And therefore, anybody who wasn't at the show has no alibi. Would that be a fair assessment, Mr. Sod?
I guess so, but I only found the body, I swear.
There's a clear contradiction in Mr. Sod's testimony. Rooting it out should be my first priority. It's rebuttal time.
I was in that workshop there by myself, practicing what I learned. I don't remember how, but I found myself in front of the door to the other workshop.
Okay, I mean, you're really full of it even back in case 1 of the first game. Enough of these pathetic lies, Mr. Sod. I'm afraid you've rather lost sight of what you are.
What I am? I know precisely what I am. I'm a former newspaper salesman who's training to be a pet stylist.
But that's not all you are, is it? Or did you forget the bracelet you wear around your wrist? A bracelet that marks you as a prisoner and therefore unable to move around as you please. As we both know, stepping outside that door would have sounded an alarm.
Well, that's...
But there's no way you could have looked into the other workshop without leaving the room you were in.
Yeah!
Woo-wee! Silently done, Edge Hero.
But doesn't this mean that Mr. Sod couldn't have found the body then?
Good question, Kay. Perhaps Mr. Sod himself can explain.
So actually, I may have forgotten to mention one very important detail. Sorry about that. I can explain exactly how I was able to see the body if you like.
By all means, go ahead.
Fighting the corpse, part 2. There's a little trick we prisoners know about, you see. As long as you leave your bracelet inside the door, you can lean out without triggering the alarm. That's how I was able to peek through the window and into the workshop next door. Inside, I spotted the victim's dead body, which made me scream in fright.
So he's saying he was able to take a look next door because he had kept his arm inside Workshop B as he leaned out?
Please don't tell anyone about our little trick, especially not the guards. Please?
Is this it? Is this all he was hiding? I'd better dig a little deeper into his testimony just in case. Let's find out.
There's a little trick we prisoners know about, you see. As long as you leave your bracelet inside the door, you can lean out without triggering the alarm. That's how I was able to peek through the window and into the workshop next door.
Why did you make so much of an effort just to take a look?
Well, you see, I heard noises coming from next door. And that room was supposed to be empty, so I thought it was strange.
And you went to look as soon as you heard these noises?
Yes, of course. I had to see what was going on, so I went right away.
I see. Are there any problems with what Mr. Sahwit just said?
There is.
You claim that you looked into the next room as soon as you heard some noise. If that's the case, you must have seen more than just a dead body, because the person who made the noises should have been in there too.
You've got him quaking in his boots, Mr. Edgeworth.
Mr. Sahwit, tell us the truth about what you saw. You do, of course, have the right to remain silent, but it will do little to dispel the notion that you were somehow involved in this crime.
I'm sorry. I did see something else, but it's too insane to believe. I really thought I might have dreamt it. That's why I wasn't sure if I should mention it.
Just tell us what you saw.
All right. It was that dog. And what I saw is the stuff of nightmares. That huge black dog had sunk his terrible teeth into the victim's throat.
What did you just say?
It was hellish. Utterly hellish. That awful beast, he killed him.
Ugh, suddenly I don't feel so good.
Jeepers creepers, that's awful. Talk about traumatizing.
It was dreadful, horrible. Now you know why he couldn't help but scream.
So there's a man-eating dog in the prison's animal population, is there?
And that really is everything, I promise. You believe me, don't you?
For now. This one seems too far-fetched to lie even for you. I'd like you to append what you just told us to your testimony if you don't mind.
Very well. Inside, I spotted the victim's dead body, which made me scream in fright. I also saw that black dog, his mouth clamped tight around the man's throat.
You're sure this black dog was biting the victim's throat?
Yes, there was blood everywhere. The beast's mouth was dripping with it and...
Whoa. Spare us the gory details, will you? What about the victim? Was he...
Don't say it. Do you really need to ask him that, Mr. Edgeworth?
Ow! Hey, what was that punch for? I'm on your side here.
He wasn't moving at all. He was just lying there.
Meaning he was already dead.
There was so much blood just oozing from his neck. Oh, he was dead as a doornail, I'm sure of that. Not even a twitch of a finger. Just lifeless.
Enough already. Why do you have to go into every little detail like that?
To give you a nice and accurate testimony. That is what you want, isn't it? Shall I add what I've said in my testimony, Mr. Edgeworth?
Please do.
It was awful, I tell you. Terrible. Oh, he was dead as a doornail, I'm sure of that. Not even a twitch of a finger, just lifeless. I remember seeing his ring gleaming as it caught the light. It featured a snowflake in relief.
Nope.
Objection!
No, it didn't. A ring with a snowflake relief.
Yes, I saw it clear as day. It was carved in such fine detail.
Interesting. Your testimony is certainly very accurate. In fact, I'd say it's just a little too accurate.
And? What's wrong with being too accurate?
I mean this. You testified to having seen a ring with a snowflake design in it. And while the victim did indeed have a ring on his finger,
see? Exactly as I said.
There is no way you could have seen it. Take a look at this photograph. As you can see, the victim's right hand was covered by a top. It would have been impossible for you to see his ring, let alone what design was on it. Unless, that is, you approached the body and removed the sheet. You told us earlier you only took a look through the window in the door, yet you seem to have seen quite a lot from such a disadvantaged location, Mr. Sahwit.
Who the heck do you think you are, huh? Mr. Big Shot acting like you know it all? I mean, I saw what I saw, I swear! Oh, I know. That man's arm. It must have moved under the tarp after I peeked in.
Nonsense. You already told us that can't have been the case.
He wasn't moving at all. He was just lying there.
Meaning he was already dead. You said it yourself that the victim was already dead, and dead men don't move, do they? Ooh-wee, is that the stench of the desperation I smell? What are you hiding, Mr. Sahwit? Tell us.
No! You're wrong! I know what I saw!
Now he knows how right felt.
You couldn't let it go, could you?
Had to keep on poking and prodding. You slimy two-bit associate attorney! It seems the real Mr. Saint has finally revealed himself. Whoa, that's quite the rug he was rocking. Came straight at you like some kind of flying black cat. Look, I'm just a sweet, innocent witness here. But are you really? Because I must say I have doubts. Very serious doubts. What's that supposed to mean? You saw something that should have been impossible to see from outside the workshop. So, how did you do it? That's simple. Mr. Saint, this is where you were standing when you saw the body. At Workshop A. You were in the same room as the body. That's the only way you could have seen the relief on the ring. Say what you want, but you don't have a shred of evidence, do you? Nothing to prove I was in the room with the body anyway. You can't prove it, can you? Because I was in the next room over, minding my own business and looking out for the animals. Why else would I have signed out a pair of rubber gloves? For fun? Now put up or shut up. I want to see evidence that proves I was in the room with that body. Sure, I'll show you the very same glove. Remind me, Mr. Saint, what were you doing when you discovered the body? How many times do I was practicing my pet's stylish techniques. Of course. Then perhaps this rubber glove might mean something to you. Ah, that's... This glove was found by the victim's body. I believe it was dropped by the killer. And I can't help but notice that you have a similar glove tucked into your apron. No! This one's different! Yes, that one does seem awfully lonely, doesn't it? Hold it! It's just a rubber glove. There are hundreds of them all over the prison. This doesn't prove anything. Objection! Not yet, perhaps, but if I were to ask the police to check this glove for prints, I have a feeling the results will be rather fascinating. They couldn't even give him a breakdown animation. It's so... Objection! What the... That was a pretty rad objection, am I right? Please, Fender, now is not the time for tomfoolery. But I have a legit objection. Because this isn't over. There's something that still doesn't make sense. Our man here is a prisoner, right? And he's got one of those bracelet doohickeys on. That's true, so how could he have left his workshop in the first place? His bracelet would have triggered the alarm if he tried. Right. We don't have a good explanation for that yet. Well, anything you'd like to share, good buddy? We're all friends here. That's weird. He should be climbing onto that bracelet at that big round lifesaver it is. In what way? As in, it's the best hope our wig-flinging friend here has for getting off the hook for murder. Sorry, can't get into the crime scene with a bracelet on. If it was me, I'd be arguing that for my life. And yet he hasn't said a peep about it. I wonder why that might be, The sound of silence. I suppose Miss Law Priestess did preach that silence is golden yesterday, too.
Whoa, you sound like an actual attorney for a second there, Mr. Fender.
The worst of times are when lawyers calmly show our biggest smiles. Gregory taught me that. It was part of the attorney's code he lived by. Gregory, Mia, Phoenix, Apollo, Athena. So, friend, what's the dealio? Why so coy about your bracelet?
Well, to tell you the truth, it's broken.
Broken?
I fell over a little while back, you see, and hit it on the floor. After that, it didn't seem to set the sensors off anymore. I should have told the guards about it, I know, but, well, it was awfully convenient.
I see. So your bracelet is broken. But do they really break that easily? If so, then this prison has a serious security problem. You there! Can we have a moment? Aw, aren't you just the cutest? Ahem. Meow. How can I help you, sir? This prisoner's bracelet appears to be broken. What? Really? That's not good. I'll get someone to find a replacement right away. Thank you. We'll keep hold of the broken one for the time being. Of course, sir. I trust you'll take good care of it. Sweet. Bracelet sorted. Now to turn our murderer in, yeah?
What? No, I didn't kill anybody.
Whoa there, Palio. You were the one who said your prison was out of commission. Or were there other inmates freely roaming the halls while everybody was busy watching the show?
No, I just found the body. That's all, I promise. And when I did, that enormous dog still had his mouth wrapped around the poor man's neck. I only went into the workshop after the beast had left.
And why did you go in?
Well, fine. I wanted to go through his pockets, okay?
He was going to rob a corpse. That explains why he remembers Knight's ring in so much detail.
Hey, why are you looking at me like that? I'm a great thief. I never stooped so low as to steal from Well, I didn't steal anything either. The show ended just after I entered the room, and all the other inmates came trickling downstairs thereafter. I panicked, rushed back to the other workshop, and started my fake screaming.
And dropped the glove in your haste, huh? I guess this all just about hangs together. And they smell funky to you, Miles? Other than whether Mr. Saw is the one who did it, I'd say one very significant question still remains. The question of how Knight made it into the prison proper from his holding cell in the detention center. Ooh yeah, this one's a doozy. I also can't help but wonder about another key feature of Mr. Saw's testimony. That dog's involvement can only mean one thing. Mr. Sawit.
Yes? What is it?
Were you the only prisoner who didn't go to watch the show?
Well, no. There was one other who didn't.
Am I right in thinking that this person couldn't have watched the show, even if he wanted to?
Yes. How did you?
I knew it. I had my suspicions when we first ran into that black dog yesterday, but this confirms it. For a criminal that dangerous to end up in a place like this is unbelievable. But where is this person's cell?
You're going to see him? Who are we talking about here? Him. He's not like the other prisoners, you know. He's special. Gets treated like royalty. But you didn't hear that from me. All I'll say is, if you value your life, you'll stay well away from him.
What? Will you please stop trying to scare us all the time?
The big cheese, huh? Well, I for one definitely value my life, so that sucks.
They keep him in maximum security. Which is over there.
Maximum security. Well, that's certainly one way of treating someone differently.
All right, quit being so mysterious and tell us who he is already. Let's just say he's highly skilled when it comes to people's lives. Better than anyone, in fact. And that's all I'm prepared to say on the subject. In fact, I may have already said too much.
Well, Mousy, anything you care to share? Or are you going to leave K&I in the dark here, too? The mystery man in maximum security is an old acquaintance. Let's go pay him a visit. I suspect we'll find our dog canine friend there, too. Indeed. Now, I would keep going, but this is long. AI2 are mostly known for how long these parts are, so I'm going to cut it short. Why? Because I have to. That is it for now. I will continue this in the next, because let me tell you, if I were to do this, it would have been like a 2-hour video, but let's just say it's going to be a long one. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, it means a lot. I will see you in the next. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell. I'll see you then. This is MegamanNG signing off. Peace out. Product provided by CAPCOM.